towards that fight in the jungle.
Yeah.
And they weren't ready for it. And it felt like after that, they were so afraid of the fact that
anyone could be anywhere.
That then they overcompensated and they sent 5 members to Herald without answering any of the 3 waves. And when you go for a play like that, you're just losing gold. And so it was very strange to see the team with the extra teleport on the Ziggs kind of getting ran around the map a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, they were missing a teleport from the top side of the map, but that was because the Jace picked Ignite so that he could win lane and then got solo killed.
Yep.
It's just unacceptable, basically. And we'll see whether Top Esports can get back on the horses.
Gotta lock in.
It was a really good start to the series against G2, right? But, okay, hear me out. Maybe this is all part of the strategy, because they were like playing well at the start, that doesn't win. Playing well at the end, that is what is able to get the win. So let's see whether that is going to work. As Pun just trying to put some fear into them with a volley bear hover, but instead it's going to be the Bard locked away for BA most likely. There it is. Will they be pairing it with a Caitlyn to start this one off? As instead, looks like we're looking for a Dire pick to get off the ground, and that is going to be picked into the Vi. Vi and Aurora together, pretty powerful, so taking that one away from Creme does make some sense, but Vi, Ahri, I mean, there are a lot of things that Top Esports can play around now. Yeah, there absolutely are, and I'm just always a little bit nervous when you are last pick and you are blinding your solos, right? Like, that just always feels like that is kind of the big advantage. Of course, Aurora is a power pick. Like you said, Creme is really, really good on it. It's his most played, so it can make sense, but Creme can play a lot of stuff. And Creme gets kind of the run of the show now. So it is going to be Rumble, Ahri, Vi, you know, 3 really kind of high-profile champions these days for these players. And the question is, what will we see for Pun, or will they shift something around? We used to see a lot of Galio and Ornn as kind of like Rumble answers. You can obviously go aggressive counters. You could even move the Aurora up towards the top side and put it against the Rumble if you want, because that is something that is also another one of those answers. So I'm going to be curious, because now that it is Rumble, it does open up the possibilities of a flex a lot more. And then if you grab the Naafiri, you could even do like Galio in mid lane against the Ahri. Like, there's so many options here, so I'm kind of curious where TSW wants to take us. Yeah, you could actually just pick Galio and then still everyone's confused about where things are going to be going. Getting a little ahead of ourselves, though, as we are into the next round of bans. The Kai'Sa going to be taken away. You are ahead of the game. That's probably what makes the world champ difference. As Jin also going to be removed. Very happy about that ban. I, too, do not want to see Jin. And we'll have one more to come on through. A lot of AD carries being taken away now. Maybe we'll have a look at some of the mages towards the bottom side of the map, but I don't think that that is where Top Esports want to go. And it is just going to be the Camille taken off the board. Not wanting to go up against that Camille combo down in the bot lane. So Caitlyn as well as Jin, 2 of the best pairings with the Bard, will be taken away. So curious to see where Eddie wants to go. You can play with, you know, kind of anything with Bard, but honestly, I would say if you pro play, 3 of the most common are Kate, Jin, and Ezreal. And all 3 are banned, right? So a lot of the common pairings are gone. It's not that Bard can't work with anything else, but it is not necessarily like as dominant as it is with those particular champions. We'll see what they are going to lock in, because they're going to have to make a decision now. As Misfortune, that's a decent option. I was thinking about what could work in the early laning phase to help augment the power of this Electrocute Bard, and an MF can certainly do that. It can. The only thing is they have no actual lockdown, right? Like, you can Bard ult and then start ulting over the top, but they need someone to hold them in place, which kind of brings my mind back to the Galio again. You know, do we want to actually bring out a Galio? Galio or Ornn? Naafiri goes in, or Ornn, you know, that could work. You know, I was kind of thinking of the potential of Naafiri diving in, Aurora flanking, Galio ult over the top, MF ult with that. But it is going to be Yunara Lulu, so scaling options here for TES. Definitely not the strongest laners these days, these 2 champions, but if you can get through the early phases, you can absolutely take over in a 5v5, and they clearly are looking at Tian and Creme to be their playmakers. You went by Ahri. Yep. JackeyLove is the late game insurance here. All right, Pun, thinking about what he wants to do, it looks like the Gnar is going to be the final consideration. Not necessarily helping, but this is what we were talking about before. I like it way more. I mean, this is what a lot of people think of, like the primary matchup into the Rumble, but also really helps the composition like you were asking for. Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. Now you have that primary engage. Obviously, what you are going to be looking for is Bard ult, Ornn Horn, that goes in, Aurora comes in on the flank,
Naafiri dives in, MF ult over the top. You're looking for this kind of big grouping of ultimates to try to burst someone down. That being said, Ahri, pretty evasive. JackeyLove, you can go RE and just kind of like hop out. With your ulted E, you have that dash. So not the easiest targets.
I think polymorph as well is going to be such a problem for Pun. Like you come in blowing the horn, and then you just turn into a little critter. You can't actually send the ram back, and things can be problematic from there. There are certainly things that Team Secret Whales need to play around, but think back to where we were in game number 1 as we were loading onto the Rift. We were saying, like, it was a 2-step plan. Things are going to be difficult. They have to make sure that they do this, that, and the other. And as it turned out, they just played better all game. So maybe that's just what they're going to do this time around as well. But I do think there's a little bit less simplicity in this draft out of the Secret Whales. And whether that is going to be a hindrance or a help, we'll have to find out.
Yeah, I would completely agree, and it's not a comp that I would really want to play MF against, because there's not the easiest kind of like point-and-click lockdown like a Nautilus and a Rel to guarantee your ult's going to go out, and then you're also standing still to ult against Ahri Vi and a Rumble. So those are pretty scary. Equalizer gets dropped on your head, you get Vi ulted, you get charmed, anything along those lines is going to be really, really difficult. So a lot of those tools are going to have to be used, and we're going to have to see Eddie be very careful about how he actually enters the fight, because if he goes in too early, uses the ult too early, it's going to be really easy to shut him down, at the very least make him cancel that ult.
And we'll have to see how Pun's going to be able to play as well, because he's definitely going to be on a little bit more of that weak side on this Ornn towards the top side of the map. We've said that this is a champion picked into Rumble quite often, but it doesn't get, super easy very quickly. You do need to grab that first item before you're really comfortable. At least a Spectre's Cowl, that's kind of when it feels much, much better. But this still should be top esports with so much control of the top side of the map, which is where they want to play through.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I think about it, it is...
Wait a second, some action here as the Cosmic Binding will connect onto JackeyLove. There are some heals being thrown down, and that's already a barrier here for Jackie as well. And that is why they're able to win out on this trade quite nicely. Eddie taking a big chunk towards the end.
Yeah, not the best trade there from BA and Eddie, and they're losing the push as well, so they are going to get shoved in here. But Ornn, to me, is not a counter to Rumble. It is an answer to Rumble. It's someone who can withstand the damage, but Eddie not being able to withstand the damage thus far has already used both potions. They're very low, and the heal has been used. Yes, he has barrier, but still a pretty tough start to that 2v2, where Lulu, Yunara traditionally are quite weak in the early levels, and if you don't allow them to get that full lethal tempo stack, get the Q stacks, and get those extended trades, it can be tough. And I feel like Eddie and BA kind of opted into trades that were too long, where really you just want like double tap and Cosmic Binding, and then just kind of back up and just try to poke and chip. Not
more action here as BA has to flash to get out of the way here. fengyue has gone very aggressive as the tower. Not exactly very friendly here. Glitterlance is going to miss as Eddie's still feeling like he has an angle. I mean, double up and a love tap probably together could just kill either of these bottom laners, but he could also just face plant, and with level 3 now coming through for JackeyLove, bit of extra health back for him and fengyue. It is just going to be the wave cleared, and Eddie now at least able to stick around and pick up this farm.
Yeah, and that is huge that he was able to survive there. You're just holding on in that 2v2. We got to see on the left history of the region here. TSW trying to continue moving forward with that history. Obviously, CFO were really at the point where everyone considered them a massive threat internationally, and TSW, at least with game 1, showing us that maybe they need to be in those kind of conversations here as well. If they can take down TES, that would be a pretty big upset based on pre-tournament expectations, and really does kind of catapult them into a very different conversation.
Yeah, and now that the LCP is sort of encapsulating so many, it kind of makes you realize that there is always the deadly team from this region, right? You can even put like Gigabyte Marines into that list from all that time ago, even though it is Vietnamese. Like the Flash Wolves, a huge one, not to mention, our world champs from Season 2 is Tier 8. Oh my goodness, that is a lot of damage to be taken down. But yeah, I think that right now we're in the Team Secret Whales era of the LCP.
You need to be an aquatic creature to do well in the LCP.
Yeah, it seems
you gotta be an oyster or a whale.
Yeah, or a wolf. Wolves just notably very aquatic.
they do like to go for a dip, you know? It's been pretty hot lately.
Hey, and a lot of them are in the snow, and the snow is made out of water.
It is.
So there you go. It might have felt like a stretch, but really, if you think about it, it's not. Yeah. Jackie and fengyue, though, are playing this one very, very well, and I was actually a little worried about their pivot towards the Yunara Lulu because we've seen it not necessarily have that much lane dominance more recently, but maybe I just hadn't seen it with this particular duo playing it out as well as they are. It's not necessarily translating into CS leads, though, just yet.
Yeah, and that's why it was so critical that BA actually survived, right? Because they very nearly got a kill on him, and if you do get that kill, things can start to get a little bit tough, a little bit ugly. And the dropping of their AD carry pick to second round did potentially hurt TSW quite a bit because all of the common pairings were banned, right? Ezreal, Jhin, Caitlyn, all were banned by TES. 2 out of 3 of those were in the second round. So there was a cost to them saying, no, we want some of these other picks a little bit more high priority. They went Naafiri on 3. And as a result, they have a bit of a weaker laning duo.
Oh, DeRay in a little bit of trouble here, though, as Creme looks for the charm, gets it, but does manage to buffer the ulti. Gets himself out of the way. No mana to speak of. The Creme trading ultimates here in this mid lane. DeRay is just going to go back.
Yeah, this is honestly really well done by TSW so far. TES, every time you look, they are out trading, but then you look at the CS, everything's even, right?
Yeah.
So they are hanging on and going to be feeling pretty good about that. TES is playing a very fragile comp. You know, they have a lot of threats, they have a lot of damage, but a champion like Ornn, a champion like Bard, you get the good setup on any of these 5, and you can one-shot them, right?
Yep.
You know, so there is that ability to kind of have that easier team fight. So we'll see if they can get it.
Goodness. Look at this. DeRay actually having an incredible day so far. Game number 1 working out very nicely on the rise.
Yeah, really impressive, too, because he has been someone who has been getting a lot of criticism. You know, when I think of him and his international performances, it has mostly been struggles, right? He's really been having a tough time in laning phases against some of these top mid laners in the world. And though he has had really good regional performances, he hasn't been able to translate that. And that was kind of a lot of the discussion last time we saw him internationally was he's just not showing up. He's not, you know, cut for this level. And in game 1, at the very least, got some early kills in those skirmishes and was able to translate that into a win, which is much easier said than done against these top teams.
Certainly is. Difficulties continuing here towards the bottom side of the map as well as fengyue just sort of by himself, harassing them both off this minion wave. JackeyLove just able to very comfortably stack that Q, get this wave shoved in. So the Yunara on track to becoming a deadly threat. Maybe not as early as the Misfortune. We'll see how Eddie is going to be able to leverage that as this game goes on. It's Creme, nice Orbit Deception after the charm. We'll do a fair bit of damage here. But, all right, ZUIAN just trying to burn down Pun. But that Spectre's Cowl that we were talking about has come in. And Pun should be able to just weather the storm. Another nice snipe there with the charm and gets an electrocute proc to boot.
Yeah, Pun is going to be, I think, really, he's not in danger of dying anymore at all. And it is double AP soul laner. So he's at the point where he's going to get to his Caning Hooker and very likely before he dies. And once you're at that point, you kind of just don't care about what Rumble is doing. And it's not as though ZUIAN went, you know, first strike and was farming gold off him or anything like that. He did go for more of that combat power, but they're going to see if they can find Creme here potentially.
Yeah, DeRay is trying to find what he can do as fengyue's moving up. Can he find the angle? Flashes and finds the air. And Hizto is also just going to make BA feel a little bit better about himself as he misses 2 of his skill shots as well. So they are just going to back away.
Yeah, are going to back away. Looks a little bit silly, but a lot of times in those situations, pros are kind of predicting a flash. They're hoping that it's like, I'm going to go in, and if I throw it at you, you'll just flash it.
I mean,
so I try to flash Q. And
he hit it perfectly on both of them if it was wide enough.
Uprights.
Yeah, just right down the middle. That's 6 points in Australia.
It's only 3 points in American football. So,
oh, is it really?
So we'll go with Australia.
Yeah, we got the better points rule.
He's got 6.
Yeah,
crazy. That's pretty good.
We can also like just run around and like kick the ball whenever we want and pass it to each other. There's basically no rules in our football. Okay, Hizto, can he actually get one of these? It looks like the answer is yes, as they are going to throw the ram over towards Tian, but now they don't have that ulti for the retreat. Will that matter? Looks like the answer is going to be no for now.
Yep, pretty calm early game here. No kills thus far. After TSW almost by themselves had a kill a minute. It was 29 kills in 32 minutes, I believe, by the end of the game. This one is killless here at 9. I think both teams going to be a little bit less a little bit more gun shy, excuse me, you know, after a game like that, maybe feeling like, okay, let's make sure we choose the right fight on the side of TES. And for TSW, I feel like they're just saying, you know what, let's chill, let's farm, wait for our moments. We found them last game, and no need to rush.
Yeah, and they've been the proactive team so far this series, right? And now they're with the composition that does kind of want to take things slow, get towards ornaments and things like this, and make those team fights work out with their extra durability. And because of that, the team that's been much slower is not necessarily going to be the one pushing the envelope. TSW just have had control of the tempo so far this series.
Yeah, they really have. And I mean, Creme, like we said, he's getting the advantages in that 1v1, and now it's starting to actually show itself in a gold lead. He is up about 300 gold. But I will say, you know, Tian and Creme have both been level 6 for a while. I want to see them link up. They are the bridge to the late game for JackeyLove and fengyue. You want to see them looking for plays, go in with the Vi ultimate, sets up that guaranteed Ahri charm, trying to burst people down, because these are two champions that are about that upfront damage, and you need to have the gold to kind of back that up.
We'll make it rain, having to come down here as the good lance is going to go wide. Hizto is going a little aggressive here, has his Aurora in pocket as well as they look for an angle. No dragon for another minute though, so no need to worry about that one. And can Creme find his way in? That's going to be the question. Remember, this is a Naafiri, can go untargetable, so it can be a little bit annoying, as that is going to be Tian, gets the wild growth there as well, and they just blow up Hizto immediately. Tian gets himself out. The magical journey is taken for the retreat, and that is first blood with no response over to Top Esports. A way better start here in game 2.
Yeah, so much better, and that is actually the slowest first blood so far this MSI, but Creme have been building up an advantage in that 1v1, now gets the first blood on top, and now is about 800 gold up on his counterpart. He's got those components for his first item, so he is going to be basing and getting that. He has the push as well, so he's going to get another plate on top. So he's going to have a 1K lead in that 1v1, and we can see how it happened. Hizto wanting to be the one that was starting this toss aggressively, but fengyue moved over. Creme was there. They had the...
In the meantime, ZUIAN is very dead.
He is, and he lost his flash, so that sucks for him.
Yeah. There was a bit of replay to go through. We do hate to interrupt you there, Isaac, but sometimes the video game, it just kind of takes over. As we got to teleport towards this bottom side. Looks like there's not going to be too much of a dive angle, as the Drake is what Tian has on his mind, looking to try and pick up doubles. As Cloud into Chemtech means that the likelihood of some pretty fun dragons could come on through for the Soul. We'll see what is going to be locked in, as Creme just throws an Orb of Deception, says, I'm helping. And we're going to see how it all started here, picture in picture, as it is going to be an Ocean Soul again. A little bit of a shame. And
that's
not
a
great
flash. Really bad flash. And that was an easy kill. I mean, they just kind of barred, tunneled through the wall, walked up, didn't really have to do too much. Flashed in a straight line, and ZUIAN, a little bit of a tough time so far this tournament. You know, he had such a great start. His game 1 on the Embessa against G2, he was just smurfing on them. But it feels like he is a very confidence-based player so far at this event, and he has looked very different in wins than in losses. You look at his stats here. In wins, up 22 CS on average at 14, and then the losses, he's kind of getting blown out. So it has really been very swingy games for him, and we need to see him get that consistency. And I think as he gets more games on stage, as he gets more games in an international environment, you will get more used to it and be able to kind of calm down a little bit more. But he is someone that TES has really counted on, because they lost 369. You know, he was, you know, replaced by ZUIAN. You know, he's the one who was coming in and taking his spot in that starting lineup, and he has been performing so well, and that's a big reason why they are here. So they need him to perform just like he did in the LPL.
Exactly, and I mean, it's a similar story, and on the other end of it, right, in comparison to Dire. We were talking about that before. He hasn't been able to perform on the international stage, has now managed to turn that one around. We'll see whether this is going to be the game that ZUIAN can do the same thing, as Pun wants to make his way towards this outer turret. That's a great Cosmic Binding. I'm not sure about the Tempered Fate, though.
I am sure about it.
You're
sure? It was very not good.
Very not good.
Yes.
Okay, well, Pun is going to try and find a ram. We'll be able to throw it into the minion wave because he knows that he's dead, I guess. And Tian's going to make his way back down, but that is not even going to get him an assist. That should be a turret going down, as Top Esports are able to just overload the bottom lane and grab even more. And this is now Top Esports with tempo control, and they are pushing it very quickly now.
Yeah, they are kind of getting everything control at this point, as Eddie could be in trouble too. Creme has no ult, so he's not going to go for the long-range engage there on the Vi, because Creme wouldn't be able to actually close the gap. I mean, that ult for BA would be great if you were Nautilus or Rel,
yeah.
But when you're Bard, you just zone-use the enemy Ahri in the middle of the bullet time, so that was not it.
All right, Tian. There is the cease and desist. Tries to get on top of Hizto there as Dire trying to get himself out of the way. Bit of an angle though, as now Tian taking a lot of damage. Creme now inside the Thunderdome and does have to flash. That Spirit Rush not up and available. fengyue does make his way up, but that is no wild growth necessary as this turret is holding on by the skin of its teeth.
I feel like the lane assignments have been really weird this game as well for TSW. As soon as Ornn completed Koenig Rooker, they immediately put him against the Kraken Slayer Yunara.
Yeah, that's an odd move.
And so, you know, being against anyone else would be a lot better. I get that you want to have MF mid, but then it feels like you would want to have Aurora maybe laning against JackeyLove. Maybe they don't feel like he can hold on in that position, but it has put him in kind of a more difficult spot. You know, and he is just kind of collecting these waves. Maybe the idea is D-Ray can play more with the team and make plays elsewhere, but it is giving JackeyLove a very, very easy time. He's collecting turret plates, he is collecting gold. He hasn't really been involved in much of anything, but he's approaching 1,000 gold lead now himself, and it is the biggest gold lead in the game. So that is going to be a problem here because TES do have that late game insurance from their bot lane and have full control now in the mid game, and it's starting to feel like, barring some sort of big play, big team fight for TSW, this one is going more and more towards top.
Well, that's exactly what they're going to have to look for here. I feel like it is now about Team Secret Whales being able to manufacture their way towards a winning game state, because as this game moves forward naturally, Top Esports should just get further and further ahead with their natural advantages that they have, especially in side lanes. We're seeing that right now as Creme is at least going into the Koenig Rooker, and so that feels a little bit better for Pun. But with the Rift Herald now at about 50%, Top Esports wanted to try and fight this one as BA trying to deal with JackeyLove and not quite being able to do so, as ZUIAN going to have to flash to get out of the way. Dire's over the wall though, and they look to try and get rid of this Rumble. He should be going down, but a few buttons do need to land. The wild growth to keep him alive as Jackie could be in trouble fighting against Eddie now, but Jackie just destroys the Bard, and Eddie needs to run for the hills. Now finally Pun's made his way in as the Ram gets a knock up, but I don't think Top Esports really care about it. Team Secret Whales with just not enough health bar to speak of outside of Pun, who has a lot.
Yeah, I mean, they forced the flash off Jackie so early, got the flash off ZUIAN really early, and it looked like they were going to get a quick kill onto ZUIAN, but Hizto and Dire couldn't finish him off. You know, a lot of those skills started to miss, as you said. Then the wild growth came through, and Eddie kind of just walked into JackeyLove in that brush, which is not a fight he's going to win. So here is, after the flash had already been forced onto Jackie, we see BA getting pushed back. Hizto and D-Ray go in. They get the flash off ZUIAN, which ended up working really well, buying some time. They just don't quite have the damage to finish. He walks in towards the wall. The wild growth buys a lot more time. Look how much damage he got onto D-Ray before he died as a result. And then Eddie feeling like, okay, my Bard is here. We can actually face check into Jackie. We can win this fight. But he absolutely could not, even with the ult. If they wanted to commit to that, I feel like Pun needed to be there way earlier, but he was clearly worried about getting his TP interrupted. So
yeah,
it's like he needs to be there when Eddie is going to press R, right? You know, you need to kind of layer those abilities because he's the only CC.
All right, there is going to be the punch. And Dire going to have to get himself out of there. That is going to be the last hit. JackeyLove able to take out the Aurora. And sometimes you just set up a Fnatic brush.
Yeah, it worked out very well for them, and now TS 4K up. They also have been collecting dragons very quickly. They are already on soul point, 3 dragons to 0 here, looking for that ocean soul, which isn't the best for them this game, but a soul is a soul.
Yep.
And it feels like that probably will be lights out for TSW if they give it over. But TSW just haven't really been able to find any purchase in this game whatsoever. The early lanes, they were kind of hanging on, but they started losing a couple fights, and the map really has fallen apart very quickly.
All right, it's a decent little avoidance there of the CC from Pun, but can't really Bellows breath away all of the damage as there goes the Ornn. 2 seconds on the call of the Forge Guard. 4,000 gold the lead. Let's have a look at the Coinbase gold grind here as, yeah, JackeyLove just getting further and further ahead, now moving to 1.8K. And as a Yunara, I mean, we're not even at 20 minutes into the game yet, and already he is so incredibly strong. They do get the ulti out of him, so that is something in trade for that Tempered Fate. And Team Secret Whales still looking for an angle, but Eddie is so close to dead. Jackie just diving forward. The bullet time is going to be able to help take him down as they trade 80 carries. Maybe this will work for Team Secret Whales as now Creme trying to dash around this fight. Great charm onto Hizto, who flashes back into the equalizer. Not entirely sure about that one, but he doesn't fall down just yet. Pun now trying to be that front line, trying to tank it up as ZUIAN doing a lot of damage. Great polymorph to deny any sort of escape from this Ornn, and they're going to look for the turret as well. Top Esports, much better form here in game 2.
Absolutely are, and that's kind of classic JackeyLove there. Finds an angle, goes in, makes it work. As they forced out that Transcend oneself, he pops the ulti, uses the Kame step, hops out of the Bard ult, and you're thinking, okay, great, you got his ult. Yeah. But then you walked up to him with the ult still available, and he's like, okay, I'll just fight you. So goes into the middle of the entire team. His ult was already active. Eddie just walks up to try to auto the tower in his face, and he says, no, you do not. He trades 1-for-1, but it's in a 2v4, and everyone from TES shows up. They have many more additional threats. They have much higher consistent damage with this comp, it feels like, and they just kind of piled in. ZUIAN, Tian, and Creme, more than enough damage to get the job done.
Well, now B8 taking some damage here from JackeyLove as he sets up the magical journey for a bit of an angle here as the rest of Team Secret Whales look like they're ready for a fight once again. And I like that. I respect it, you know, because it feels like this game is falling away from them. That is not going to stop them from trying to make moves as the Tempered Fate once again going to be avoided by JackeyLove. But this time around, I imagine Team Secret Whales are not going to try and fight him with it available. Jackie says he wants none of that, though, as he is just going to chase them down. Hizto down to 50% as a result, but it looks like Jackie's going to have to say goodbye to the ultimate. It's going to be back up again pretty soon, though. Yeah,
and that's a fine trade if that's what you're going to use the Bard ult for, but it is kind of what I was talking about in draft. When you look at the two carries, Yunara and Ahri, it's tough. It's really, really tough to actually get an ult that is going to land on them. And the Bard didn't really get much done in the laning phase. Hasn't really been able to get out on the map and do too much. So hasn't been super effective. Hizto the only one with a gold lead, and it is just, it's nothing. It's 70 gold. And Jackie up 2K, rushing towards that IE. When that is completed, this guy is going to be a terror. He already has the pocket. Lulu has had that Ardent Sensor for quite a long time. Tian has got the armor pen with the Black Cleaver done now, so Jackie is going to be a menace, and I don't know, I just don't know if they have the tools to actually get through everyone and kill him off.
Yeah, this is what I'm a bit worried about as well, especially when the Bard was kind of the first pick, like this was their most value from the draft that they got. Hasn't found very much of it at all so far here in this game. BA had such an incredible performance on the Nautilus. Now Top Esports able to do basically whatever they want. And we've got 45 seconds until the Ocean Soul does come in. Let's see whether Top Esports are going to be locking that one down or whether this time Team Secret Whales can actually find themselves a team fight. I think all eyes are going to be on Pun and what he can make happen with this GOAT.
Yeah, look at Tian, how far back he is. He is trying to get a wraparound angle here, coming through the enemy jungle. And we can see Secret Whales are aware of it. They're just going to retreat down into their jungle. They're trying to hunt for Tian, make sure no one is behind them. And no one is, but D-Ray has been chunked out a decent bit already. And now you have lost control of that river, which is going to make it so tough, I feel like, for them to get back in. And D-Ray is looking for a recall TP.
Yeah, Hizto actually coming around towards his bottom side as well. As Harpoon going to connect. Team Secret Whales just trying to get themselves into a position where they can even contest this. As there's the punch back onto Pun. He takes so much damage. Equalizer is going to need to be walked here by the Ornn. Gets the heal, though, and the Equalizer hasn't really done too much. Tempered Fate once again goes wide. Can they find more with the Ram as it gets the double knockup? There is the bullet time, but it has to be immediately stopped. And down goes D-Ray before the fight. It really even had a chance to break out. An immediate teleport will get the Rumble in there. The walking barbecue to take down the hot dog. Hizto falls first, and the rest will follow suit. It's a clean ace for Top Esports. They can take a Soul, they can take a Baron, they can take a Nexus if they want.
And they can take a game too, it's starting to feel like here. Great bounce back game from TES. Up 8K and a Soul. They completely destroy them in that team fight. Use the Equalizer early, chunk them low. Even with that bullet time being comboed with the Call of the Forge God, it just didn't matter because Creme was on the side to instantly force the cancel, land the charm, and then I love the combat TP there from ZUIAN, using the deep ward that they had earlier to chase them down, knock them out. And you can see in your MasterCard priceless moment of the game, Ocean Soul collected. and TSW wiped from the map. So let's watch it one more time. It's really all about how they play the side. So Creme is going to be looking for this angle as Ornn is trying to go in. They're looking for the bullet time over the wall, but watch Creme the whole time is waiting on the side, goes right in, lands the charm onto Eddie, and once that gets canceled, D-Ray's going in, but he just gets polymorph, knocked up, dead.
Yep, absolutely obliterated. The Baron is still up and available as Tian taking a fair bit of damage here, but it's just Top Esports pushing them away from the Baron pit. Make sure that one stays as dark as possible. This is Team Secret Whales, though, so it looks like they are still rearing for a fight. And we'll see whether they can do better this time because, I mean, I think the last fight really epitomized it. You explained it. It's so hard for this composition to even work.
Yeah.
And so it's going to possibly be a bridge too far. As Jackie underneath the turret might be an option, as Eddie down to almost dead before anything's even really happened. And now fengyue is there to keep Jackie alive. More of these minions to be going down as they're pushing wave after wave into these inner turrets. And every time they slink into the fog of war, Team Secret Whales do need to try and look for them. They still at least have one blue trinket available here from Eddie to try and scout that Baron.
That is terrifying. Jackie almost killed Eddie under the tower. Didn't even use his ult to do that. Held on to that. And they have Ocean Soul, and one of the really nice things about Ocean Soul is you can just perma-start Baron over and over and over. They come in, you force some cooldowns, they run away, you just start it again because you're going to be sitting on full health. Jackie traded a lot of his HP, but he has Ocean Soul, so he's right back to full off of that next wave, and he is looking for more.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Eddie at least does have a Bloodthirster, so when his health bar does go down low, if he's got a wave to hit, then he will get a fair bit of that health back. The problem is it keeps going from 100 to 0 in a lot of these fights, and the Bloodthirster doesn't help as much with that. It's a 10,000 gold lead, though, at almost 26 minutes into this game. This is obliteration this time, and it looks like Top Esports have woken up after that Game 1 humbling that they had for themselves. And this is more what we were expecting in this series.
Yeah, I think they came into this game, they got super comfortable champions to play. They are so used to this style, and they are showing us why it is so difficult to play against them on these playmakers. Tian, his Vi is nasty. Creme is so comfortable on the Ahri. Jackie, obviously famous as being one of the best team fighters of all time. And so it really did feel like they got comfort across the board, and they are utilizing it.
All right, the Ram's going to come on through. They're looking for Jackie. They'll get him as the bullet time is paired with it as well. He'll dash himself out of the way. The equalizer fantastic in a corridor at the same time as Jackie turns it around. Pun's going to be the first to go down, and everyone else is almost dead just from incidental damage.
Exactly, and the Ornn is so far forward, and you're wondering, where's the rest of TSW? Well, they're all running from Creme because Creme was again wrapping behind the Ornn and threatening the carries. Creme is never caught with Jackie, even though Jackie had to use the ult, had to use a flash, had to use some big tools there. Creme was threatening the backline, making it difficult for TSW to really continue that fight, to continue moving forward. As a result, they kill the Ornn, they chunk him out, they take the Baron, and they are on the march here to try to even this series up.
Yep, already this Rebel Baron power play will be expanding. This inner turret is going to be taken first, and Top Esports now with so much pushing power, going to be absolutely deadly for the TSW base. They're going to try and do their best to clear out these waves. They do have some wave clear on this squad, but I just don't know whether it's going to be enough. As that's a good charm onto Pun. D-Ray looking for a bit of an angle there as he does half the health bar of the Rumble. But this Ocean Soul, man, it is doing so much work here for Top Esports.
Yeah, and I love how much they're actually intentionally utilizing it. They're forcing trades constantly and getting value.
Oh, Tempered Fate is going to be able to catch Jackie, but he doesn't seem too worried about it. D-Ray down to half health once again. Eddie going to get tagged. Equalizer, great position. The last hit with the charm from Creme was pretty clean, and they'll be able to take the inhibitor in this mid lane. Is this just the end, though? That's the question. Is ZUIAN going to get himself a shield as they look to make their way in? Down goes D-Ray to start this one out. The Ram is there, but it's not really doing too much. And that is going to be the first Nexus turret falling down. Top Esports get the knock up onto Pun. He'll be taken out. Some revenge for what he did in the top lane in Game 1 as the Nexuses are evened in this series. And we've got a best of 3 to follow this.
A couple of one-sided games to kick off this series. One going the way of TSW. This one was all top, though. They dominated from very early on.